Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we have some breaking 2026 election news, and that is that Minnesota Senator Tina Smith announces she will not be seeking re-election in 2026. So Minnesota Senator Tina Smith opened up a seat in the solidly Democratic state she announced on Thursday. Smith said in a video posted to the social media platform X that she has loved her job as a U.S. Senator but wants to spend more time with her family as she has 4 grandchildren. She said, quote, "This job has been the honor of a lifetime. For the rest of my team, I'll work as hard as I can for Minnesotans and our country," she said in the post. "Thank you so much, Minnesota." Smith has served in her Senate seat since 2018 when she was appointed to succeed former Senator Al Franken following his resignation amid allegations of sexual misconduct. She then won a special election that year to serve the remainder of the term and was reelected to a full 6-year term in her own right in 2020. Her unexpected announcement makes her the second Senate Democrat to announce their retirement in 2026 after Michigan Senator Gary Peters, a Democrat, revealed he would not seek another term last month, and it leaves the field open for her successor. Smith said the country needs, quote, "strong progressive leadership, and the state has a deep bench of political talent that is ready to pick up the work." She said she's eager to make room for them to move up. While Minnesota has been a key part of the Democrat coalition for decades, having not elected a Republican senator since 2002, the GOP may eye the seat and attempt to flip it. President Trump and other Republicans have at times expressed hope about their future prospects in Minnesota, and Vice President Harris only carried the state in November by about 4 points over Trump. But Senator Amy Klobuchar, Minnesota's other senator, won her race in November by more than 15 points. Within the Democratic field, the race, at least initially, seems wide open. One prominent Minnesota Democrat, former Representative Dean Phillips, who ran for the Democratic nomination for president last year, has said he would not run for Senate in 2026. Smith said much of her family is living in Minneapolis and allowing them to all be together, and she is grateful to be able to spend time with them. She said her decision is not political and is entirely personal, but she still looks forward to being able to focus on her job as senator for the next 2 years. "I plan to use every single day working as hard as I can to represent your interests in the United States Senate and make sure that your voices are heard," she said, adding that not having a focus on re-election campaign will allow her to entirely focus on her job. So this is big breaking news, and as the article mentioned, she is now the second senator to announce her retirement in the 2026 elections. The first one is Michigan, the second one is now Minnesota. And Minnesota, I initially had ranked as likely Democrat going into the 2026 Senate elections. As the article mentioned, at the presidential level, Kamala Harris just defeated Donald Trump by 4%, 51% to 47%. So that would be a lean Democratic state. It was a very, very close race. But on the Senate side of things, it was a different story where Amy Klobuchar won re-election over her Republican opponent, 56% to 41%. So Klobuchar obviously did much better here. Klobuchar got 56%, whereas Harris got 51%. So definitely a big difference here. As for Smith's own track record of being a senator, let's see, she was up in 2020. She won that race by 5.2%, so barely a likely Democratic win. In 2018, she won her special election by 10.6%. So both races were likely Democrat when she was on the ballot. As for who's going to run for this race, that's obviously the next question that's up. The 2 potential candidates listed on Wikipedia is Angie Craig, the U.S. representative from Minnesota's 2nd Congressional District, and Governor of the state, Tim Walz, who was just Vice President Harris's running mate. He could potentially, because he's up in 2026 to run for governor as well, maybe he decides he'd rather be senator than governor and decides to run for the race. That remains to be seen, but those are 2 potential Democratic candidates. The Republican side of things, there really isn't a deep bench of well-known Republicans in Minnesota to run. Royce White, the former NBA player and the Republican nominee for Senate in 2024, has publicly expressed interest. But again, looking at the Senate map, we just saw him lose to Amy Klobuchar by 15 points. So if he were to run again and win the nomination, it's all in likelihood he would get blown out in another race, probably likely to maybe even safe, depending on the margin of victory. But this is very, very interesting. Inside elections, as of January, had it as solid Democrat, but Cook Political Report had it as likely Democrat. Sabato's Crystal Ball had it as likely Democrat. This news, I think, certainly could shake things up if the Republicans were able to land a very good recruit, someone that's popular in state politics. and the Democrats maybe were not able to. I could see Minnesota maybe being likely Democrat, but I think even though Smith is not running for re-election, I would still put Minnesota as likely Democrat, as I think the track record on the Senate level has been Minnesota voting likely Democrat. Yes, the presidential race was a lean Democrat, but also Trump won't be on the ballot this time around. 2026 is supposed to be a more beneficial year for the Democrats. So I think it's more likely than not, just by a little bit over 5 to 6%, Minnesota probably starts as likely Democrat still. But this news certainly does shake things up a bit and does potentially give the Republicans another target they can try and look at trying to flip. Let's say Minnesota does become a toss-up race. There would then be about 6 Senate races that I think are really going to be competitive in 2026. I'm still skeptical on whether or not Minnesota will be competitive. I think it still stays as likely Democrat for now. But I think at very least, this gives Republicans a potential opening if they can recruit a top-tier candidate. If they cannot, I think Minnesota stays as likely Democrat. But that's the latest news we have for Minnesota right now. We have no news as of the time I'm recording this video, which is around noontime, if we have any news about if Tim Walz or Angie Craig are going to run, or who the Republicans may run for this race, as this news is still breaking. But make sure to give the video a like, leave a comment below telling me if you have any updates or anything. If I get any more information, I'll leave comments on the post saying the updated information. But make sure to leave a comment below if you have any insight or any thoughts about this. Make sure again to remember to hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you in a future video. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button. And make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day, so I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.